Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. All right, we're finishing another week of Bible books in 5 minutes or less. Actually, I'm trying to hit 4 minutes. And today is the book of Nahum. Nahum in the Hebrew. Now, picture like in some movie or something, some dystopia movie, a city of oppression and cruelty that seems to be invincible. That was, at the time of the prophecy of Nahum, that was the city of Nineveh. You heard me talk earlier this week about Jonah, perhaps. Jonah prophesied to Nineveh, but Nahum is set about 150 years after Jonah had preached and Nineveh had repented, and Nineveh had returned to their horrible ways. So this is a book that I'd like to talk about in a summary fashion, but then give you a memorable verse and a practical application. This seemingly invincible city, the prophet says, is destined for destruction. And there's a powerful message in Nahum of divine justice, which is interesting, I might add, because the Hebrew meaning of Nahum's name, that word Nahum, is comfort. And yet, this comforting prophet is speaking of divine justice, and it focuses on the downfall of Nineveh, the capital city of the brutal Assyrian Empire, the most powerful empire on earth at that point. And with vivid imagery and poetic language, Nahum reminds us that even the mightiest nations are accountable to God. So God's judgment is going to come, and it is described in graphic detail. I mean, horses running through the streets, blood running. It is fit for a PG-13 movie at least. But the book serves as a warning to the enemies of God's people and a message of hope to those who have suffered under oppression, the Assyrian oppression particularly. And so it emphasizes God's power, God's justice, and God's faithfulness to his people. Which brings me to a memorable verse. I love Nahum 1:7. It says, "The Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. He cares for those who trust in him." Now, this verse is set amidst pronouncements of judgment, and it highlights God's enduring goodness and his protection for those who put their faith in him. Spoiler alert, put your faith in God. Which brings me to the practical application. Nahum challenges us to trust in God's ultimate justice, even when evil seems to prevail. It reminds us that God is aware of injustice and will ultimately hold oppressors accountable. This book also warns against placing our trust in worldly power or wealth, as these can quickly crumble. My buddy James says everybody is only 2, sometimes he says 3, bad decisions from living under a bridge. Well, Nahum's message prompts us to examine our own lives and societies, ensuring we don't become complacent in the face of injustice or arrogant in times of prosperity. So from the ashes of Nineveh arises this timeless message. There's no power on earth that can withstand the judgment of the Almighty. And as we reflect on Nahum and his prophecy, may we find comfort in God's justice, hope in his faithfulness, and the courage to stand firm in our faith, even in the face of insurmountable odds. Going into this weekend, it's why I made it your video thought for today.